We have been here for a week. I absolutely love it. I love our home. We got a townhome, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and I am not rushing to fill it up with stuff. Everybody has a bed. Everybody's room is straight, but like our living room area, and I can just kind of, y'all know I film on my front facing camera, so it is what it is. But this is our living room area. Now I had to set up my computer and stuff like that, but I'm not rushing to get a bunch of furniture in here. Like, not only am I starting over, but I'm starting better this time. So normally I would feel so much pressure to go ahead and get everything set, get the bar stools and the wall, stuff on the walls, and get it painted and get the curtains and get the furniture, like everything, and overwhelm myself mentally and then financially. And I'm not doing that this time, because baby, when you go through the kind of season that I went through, when I say months with zero, literally nothing, I can't even tell you, other than by the grace of God, that's how I made it. I mean, that is the only reason. I'm not exaggerating. You learn, like I learned stewardship, like God can teach you stewardship in lack, in your seasons of lack. And so I'm just really, really happy about everything, and just really coming into like settling myself. Because when you go through a long period of unemployment and you don't have anything, you lose everything, and you don't have to be a materialistic person or anything like that for it to impact you, but it does, it impacts you. And I lost my confidence, y'all. Like, I just felt like less than a mom because I couldn't provide for my kids. My baby girl was graduating and we were staying with my sister. And I was like, oh my God, when she comes home, like, we need a place of our own. And so I know a lot of times when you hear Christians talk, it seems like we only tell like the good parts of it, but it's so much more than that. Like, you be so overwhelmed with how God showed up, and you just want to tell people, like, don't give up. You want to show them how God brought you through. Now, am I where I absolutely, where I know that God is taking me? No, but I'm so not where I used to be. And I'm so not the person that I used to be. Like, I'm not so hard on myself like I used to be. I used to be so hard on myself. And I had all these limiting beliefs that I didn't even know that were there. I was living out word curses that had been spoken over me. Sometimes when you're growing up, and like, I was the one that would take my time to get dressed for Thanksgiving, even though we was just going in the living room and being told it don't take all of that, and it don't take all of that. And when I'm pursuing all of these big goals and big dreams, like, who do you think you are? So those seeds were planted like a long time ago. And I didn't know that just different experiences, I had been watering them unintentionally. And so God had to break a lot of that. But y'all, it was bad. Like, it was really, really bad. Let me tell you something. I had a moment of really just basking in how far God has brought me. I got a call. So during that time, again, I had no money. Nothing was opening up job-wise. And I reached out to my network. I did all the things. Let me take this jacket off because I don't know if it's rubbing up against. Oh, and let me tell y'all about this jacket. I love this jacket. Let me see if y'all can see. I keep hitting the thing. So if it's making kind of like noise or whatever, then forgive me, but I'm gonna take the jacket off. But I got this jacket from Zara. I love it. This little cropped denim distressed jacket. And it is, baby, I woke up this morning. It's cold here in Tennessee in the morning. It ain't like Texas. In Texas, at 7 o'clock, it's 80-something degrees, 90 degrees. This morning, it was in the 60s. It was cold. So, but now I'm back at the house. I can take it off. But y'all, when I say broke, I was reaching out to my network. I went on job interviews. I remember one job, this is how bad it was. I walked into a customer service, like, how some companies have job fairs and stuff, and it was for customer service. Honey, I walked in there. It was 2 young ladies that were doing the interviews. And one was kind of young. You could tell she was young, like fresh out of college in her 20s. And the other lady was, more seasoned. She was older. And when I walked in the room, the young lady that was in her 20s, she said, ma'am, please don't take this the wrong way. She said, but I can tell by the way you dress, we don't have anything for you. And I was like, she said, no, like, we don't have anything at your level. I walked in with a blazer, some wide leg pants, you know, looking professional because that's what you do. She said, I don't even know if we have anything in our corporate offices because my background is in leadership development, coaching, all that stuff, training and development. And I was doing all the things. I can't tell y'all how many of those, like I went to like 3 or 4 of those kind of job fairs. I reached out to my network. I talked to hiring managers and people with pull at certain places, and nothing was opening. And I know now that was God. Like, God shut all of that down because he had to do a work in me. And that work did not feel comfortable, baby, because he had to show me some things about me. He showed me how I had been settling in, not just in relationships, because sometimes, if you've ever heard the term, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you'll settle in this area of your life, you'll settle in that area of your life. There's no compartmentalizing things, which I wasn't even aware of it. So he showed me how I had stopped believing in myself, how my drive was not what I thought it was. I was working so hard to prove people wrong who had said that when I became a teen mom, my life was going to be over. You know, when I had my kids, because I had my older kids when I was young, and then I had the twins when I was in my 30s, and that your life was over and all the things. And so I had been working so diligently to prove them wrong. But I called it ambition. I called it drive, and it wasn't. And so God had to show me that, and he had to just really bring me back to myself. I had to regain my confidence. Y'all, I lost all my confidence. I know I was showing up for other people because that's what we do. And it wasn't that I was trying to hide anything that I was going through. It's just that I've learned to have a next play mentality. Like, you show up because you don't have a right to quit on. I couldn't quit on my kids. I couldn't quit on just life in general, even though I wanted to. I was like, God, anytime you ready, I'm ready. Because this is ridiculous. But I'm so glad that God did not let me give up, and that there was something on the inside of me. I don't know. It's a gift. Like, the gift, we all have a measure of faith. I believe that we all have a measure of like resilience. And so that kicked in for me. And now I'm in this place where I'm back in sports as an executive advisor in professional sports. And I feel so much better about myself. And it's not the end goal, but God is repositioning me and putting me back in a space that I'm used to with like-minded people. But I had to really rebuild my confidence and really focus on my self-talk. A lot of people who I thought were friends were revealed in that time. And sometimes when we go through a betrayal, especially when it's somebody that we call friend or sister or brother or whatever the case may be, it's not so that you can be hurt. Like, I don't think that God allows it so that to hurt you, but I think it's more so to reveal who they truly are. And once you know who they truly are, because as you elevate, you know this, like, we say it, we've heard it, everybody can't go, and everybody really can't go. Everybody really cannot go. And so there comes a point where, because you're holding on so tight to this relationship, this friendship, or whatever the case may be, you can't see them for who they truly are. You don't see their heart and their motive towards you. I think I said it in my last video. People can admire you and envy you at the same time. And a lot of people want to see you do okay. They just don't want to see you. They okay with you being okay. They ain't okay with you being good. They definitely aren't okay with you being great, even though they may have more than you, because it's not about the things. It's about what you carry. It's about the anointing that you carry, because there are some people who have it all, materially, financially, relationally, but they don't have it. They don't carry what you carry. They don't carry the light that you carry. And I know some people may hear that and be like, oh, here you go. But it is so true, whether you want to believe it or not. It is so true. It is the light that you carry. It is the anointing that you carry. It is the freedom that you're going to be able to walk other people through because of what you've gone through and what you've grown through. So if you are in that space and you're finding yourself feeling like, oh, you've been betrayed by people who you love and who you thought were your friends, don't look at it as a bad thing. And I'm not saying don't be hurt, because it's hurtful, but recognize it for what it is. God has to reveal these people and show you, because you can't be so vulnerable. You can't be so green with everybody that comes into your life, or even the people who have already been there. You have to see them for who they truly are, and then you have to let people be. And so this video is becoming longer than I intended it to be, but I just wanted to give y'all an update. We've been here for a week. I love it. It was not an easy road to get to this point. Keeping hope alive, like staying hopeful when everything around you is falling apart, is not an easy thing to do. And what I had to do was I had to have a real honest conversation with myself and with God. And I really told God, like, God, I'm not happy. I'm upset. I can't believe you allowed these people to do this to me. I can't believe that you allowed this to happen to me. And what was revealed to me through a mentor, because I had this conversation with her, she said, what makes you think God let them do? Like, why are you blaming God for what people do? Like, just like God gives you free will, he gives people free will. And when people harm you or wrong you, they make a choice. That's not God's doing, that's their doing. But what you do is you allow God to walk you through that process of healing and forgiveness, because you got to forgive people, right? But forgiveness doesn't mean that you allow them access into your life. So I've just been learning so many things. And the other thing was, I realized that the whole time that I was in Dallas, Fort Worth for the last 20 something years, I was living my mom's dream, not mine. I grew up in this small town, Dallas, in Mississippi. My mom, I had older siblings who had moved to Dallas, and then my mother had a sister who lived in Houston. So we would always visit Texas, Dallas more so than Houston. And she always wanted to live there, y'all. She always wanted to live in Texas, but she would never pull the trigger. And I didn't understand why. So when she passed away, I was 22 years old when my mom passed away. In my brain, I had it set subconsciously, I'm moving to Dallas. And so this whole time I was trying to make things work there, but nothing ever panned out. Any opportunity that I got was always outside of the state of Texas. And when I would take them, but in the back of my mind, I always had this thought or this feeling that if this doesn't work out, I'm going back to Dallas. And lo and behold, something would happen. It wouldn't work out, and I found myself back in Dallas. But this time when I moved, I didn't have that feeling. I knew that when I left, I would be leaving for good. Now I'm gonna go back and visit because my people are there. But I knew that this was finally me, God breaking those shackles off and positioning me and taking me to the place where he has me. And I didn't even know that I was living her dream, because my mom and I were close. I grew up like an only child, even though I am the youngest of 6 by 10 years. So she would always talk about all the things she wanted to do, but she would never pull the trigger on them. And I think that's why I've always been so driven as well, and never afraid to go after my goals, because I watched her die and not live her life the way that she wanted to, and not do all the things that or even attempt to do the things that she wanted to do. And so I was subconsciously living her dream while forfeiting mine, because baby, my whole entire life, I wanted to be on television. I wanted to do entertainment. I wanted to be in fashion, fashion and entertainment, not even basketball. Basketball was always just a means to an end to get me to that end. But when she passed away, you know, we get stuck in a moment sometimes when we lose a loved one. And some of us don't celebrate Mother's Day or Father's Day, or we're really sad on a birthday and things like that. And that's the enemy's way of keeping us stuck. God doesn't want that for us. And so the question that really opened that up was from my mentor again. She said, now, Yolanda, after all the time that you've been in Dallas, all those years, and with your experience and your education and all the things in your network, no opportunity ever panned out. Do you think you were ever supposed to be there at all? And I immediately said no. And that's when the Lord brought that up, that I have been living my mother's dream. She always wanted to be there. And so I was going to do it for her. So while you're in this season, I want you to ask yourself, especially if you're in a city, state, or whatever, and you're trying to get an opportunity and nothing is panning out, are you even where you're supposed to be? Like, are you living your dream or somebody else's? And if you're not, ask the Lord to forgive you, repent, because I didn't know that I was. Like, I had no idea. But life is lived forward, but understood backwards. And so now that I see that, I understand how I stayed stuck for so long. And I don't want any of you to stay stuck. So if you are in this season and you are a year in or 2 years in, don't be like me. I was 20 some years in and nothing is panning out. Ask God if you're even supposed to be where you are. And if you're not, ask him to please put you where you're supposed to be. Okay. So this video is way longer than I thought it was going to be or that I intended it to be, but you take away from it what you need to take away from it. I appreciate the love and the support. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'll see you guys later.